And as massive oil spills continue to pour into the Gulf of Mexico off the U.S. coast, who are you going to call? The SWAT team? Well, that's what President Obama is doing. Here to weigh in on why that may be is radio host Alex Jones. Alex Jones, thanks for being here. Now, this is an environmental problem. Why is Obama calling in law enforcement to help?
Well, the whole thing is very suspicious. The day before Earth Day, this giant BP Petroleum a drilling platform explodes. They have equipment on them that almost 100% of the time can seal any type of release of oil or gas. That was clearly not triggered. And you have this happening about a month after Obama announces that he's going to open up other areas in the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic off of the East Coast to drilling. And then this happens. We know that the big oil companies based here in the U.S., the AP years ago sued and got the documents, actually had a plan to restrict the amount of oil coming into the U.S. by buying up and shutting down refineries so they can create artificial scarcity. There's actually a huge glut of oil, too much oil. And so some of the big oil companies have been caught promoting behind the scenes the peak oil theory that we're running out of oil so that they can continue to make greater profits. And so some of the big mega oil companies have a stake in not allowing some of the smaller operators to be able to drill in the Gulf of Mexico that just has massive oil reserves. Some estimates are even greater than what's been extracted from Saudi Arabia. And to have President Obama say that he's going to send militarized special weapons and tactics teams to, quote, all of the drilling rigs when there's thousands and thousands in the Gulf is just asinine. I mean, even if they thought terrorism could be involved, you would send FBI investigators. You don't send people that are trained to take on bank robbers and people that are holding hostages. And so I've said in the last day that I was concerned that this could be a move towards nationalizing oil, which is something that the government's been talking about. And Mark Levin, who was actually a cabinet advisor under Ronald Reagan, has also come out and said that this is just asinine and makes absolutely no sense. And we're now more than 24 hours into this, and this story is a sensation in the United States because it makes no sense. And Obama has not responded and clarified why he's saying he's dispatching SWAT teams. But clearly that's putting the idea out there that terrorism is involved in what has happened.
Okay, well, while we're talking about the SWAT teams, I want to talk about earlier this week it was reported that a SWAT team responded to a Tea Party demonstration outside an Obama event in Illinois. I mean, paramilitary units at a Tea Party rally just doesn't, I mean, it doesn't seem normal. Are we seeing an expansion of military force in the U.S., these kind of things?
Oh, more than that. In fact, the news has covered the YouTube videos of the event. The Secret Service kept ordering SWAT teams and riot police to push a Tea Party back. And every time they agreed to move back, they would push them even further. And finally, the Secret Service just said, get rid of them altogether. And the local police unit refused to do it. But absolutely, in the last 2 days, new Army documents have come out that just add to a huge stack of previous ones where they're having drills where the National Guard and the regular Army engage Tea Parties and, quote, veterans and gun owners as terrorists. And so there's a huge secret program going on where the U.S. military is drilling to take on the American people under a martial law scenario.
Okay, now really quickly back to the oil drill because I want to get to that. You know, this is the second largest spill since Exxon Valdez, or the largest spill since Exxon Valdez. Isn't it possible that they just need all the help they can get to clean this thing up, and that it's a good thing that the SWAT team has been called in, and moreover that maybe it's the SWAT team because other resources that would typically respond from the U.S. are deployed in our efforts in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Well, no, Obama's saying he's dispatching SWAT teams to investigate. A SWAT team is sent in against armed men who have someone held hostage. SWAT teams go in and kill people. They have all these federal investigators, U.S. Marshals, FBI, and others. The Army Corps of Engineers has been saying for 5-6 days they want to go in, and they haven't sent them in yet. No, this is the last group that you would send is basically a death squad. I mean, what SWAT teams do is they go in, against armed men. It makes no sense unless he's talking about testing the waters for seizing oil wells, or if they're worried that someone is about to attack these offshore rigs. That's the only legitimate reason for dispatching SWAT teams, is if they believe terrorists are attacking these. But this facility was covered with engineers, and I mean, it's just incredible. It makes no sense.
All right. Well, Alex Jones, thanks so much for helping us try to make sense of that news.
Thank you.